public exchange between former President Olusegun Obasanjo and former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose that exposed the deep cracks in their once political father-son relationship. The drama began at Fayose's 65th birthday celebration, where Obasanjo publicly reflected on their long-running turbulent relationship, describing Fayose as not the best of his political proteges, despite acknowledging his political accomplishments. Let's take a look.
Some people called me and said, "We hear you are going to Ayo Fayose's birthday. Can't you remember he abused you?" I said, "Thank you for reminding me. In Yoruba land, we have a saying, you are not the best of my political children. You are not. But you have made achievement that must not be ignored. You've asked for forgiveness, and as far as I'm concerned, you are forgiven. But the right lesson from the learned."
Well, Ayo Fayose has fired back at Obasanjo with a blistering message, accusing his SY political godfather of making irresponsible comments at his age and sinking so low in the scathing response framed as a thank you note that was anything but grateful. Fayose went on to insult Obasanjo, suggesting that he belonged in a zoo and suffered from a heightened state of dementia. Fayose also demanded a refund of the money he paid Obasanjo to attend his party, which he claimed Obasanjo publicly acknowledged receiving. In a swift reply, Obasanjo thanked Fayose for the message, noting that it undisguisedly revealed who and what Fayose really is, unchanged and unchangeable. He also confirmed that the money had been returned unopened to the person who delivered it, stating he considered the matter close. I'll take some reactions. This is from Olufemi, who wrote, "The latest outburst attributed to Mr. Ayo Fayose is so profoundly intemperate, vulgar, and unbecoming of any man who has ever occupied public office that it inevitably raises grave concerns about his mental equilibrium. Nigeria has its fair share of political theatrics, but this is of an entirely different category. It reflects a mind either overwhelmed by bitterness or impaired by an absence of reflection and discipline. If Mr. Fayose is indeed the author of this disgraceful communication, then he owes the nation an explanation, not merely for his manners, but for his state of mind. His behavior is not only shameful, it is suggestive of a deeper psychological dislocation that should alarm all reasonable observers." Another ex-user wrote, "There is no reason why Baba Obasanjo should have made those utterances at Fayose's party. After he told the audience that Fayose and his wife had already begged him, he should have let it go. Baba must learn how to let go at his age, and Fayose shouldn't have invited him at all." Finally, Taiwo wrote, "Two wrongs never make a right. Even if OBJ made a mistake by airing Fayose's dirty linen in public, it is utterly unbecoming and frankly disgraceful for Fayose to reply by attacking him publicly. What happened to respect for elders, that globally recognized and unmatched pillar of Yoruba culture? Has Fayose forgotten that some lines are simply not crossed, no matter the disagreement? In fact, his outburst only ends up proving OBJ's point about the kind of person he is. A wayward child cannot hide his true nature." This ex-user is calling ex-governor a wayward child. But I mean, that exchange was quite the exchange. When I read the statement attributed to the ex-Ekiti State Governor, I was shocked. I thought it was fake news, but I don't know. Please, is it fake news, Dr. Amati?
Well, I'm shocked beyond belief because, you know, in Yoruba culture, respect is everything. They properly, groomed Yoruba man, no matter the level of provocation from an elderly person. Seniority is very, even if the person is older than you by just 1 year. When we were in school, there were some people who were my seniors in secondary school. I don't even know how to call them by any other name other than senior this, senior that. And they take it in their stride because they know that, okay, because they were my senior for 1 or 2 years, he's senior for life. Yorubas have a saying. They say, oh, people from certain parts of the country don't respect people who are older than them. They even say some of them in the morning, they just talk to their parents anyhow. That's how respect is so important to Yoruba people. So if you disrespect an older person in Yoruba land, it's like a taboo. It's part, it's written into that concept of Omoluabi, which President Obasanjo was referring to. However, there will be some people who will look at the content of President Obasanjo's remarks and say, well, as an older person, whatever he said was not yet beyond the pale of, commentary from a father figure to someone who is, about the age of his sons and all of that. But for the former governor to now write back to the elder statesman, to call him a mad person, to call him an animal, to call him an irresponsible person, if you look at it within the concept of Yoruba culture, that's really shocking. That's really shocking. And then to the extent of saying President Obasanjo should return the money that he gave him and all of that. That all of this even got into the media. It's so ugly. Yes. It's so untidy. Right. So I can only say that as someone from the same background, I'm shocked beyond their belief.
All right, we'll follow up on the story as always. Well, let's...
Wow. You see, this is a problem that... this is what we have been saying. Here is a problem now. We are in this. I want you to please take your time, listen to this video. Yeah? A lot of video, what you are going to listen to on this video. You see where we are. We live in a lawless country. A country is a joke. To an extent, Donald Trump is saying, just like we have been saying, that the country is a joke. I said it many times. I said the country is a joke. And every little thing, we try to make joke out of every serious issue, just like this issue of genocide now. That Tinubu and APC member, all they are doing is to see how they can change the narrative to say there's no Christian genocide, rather than looking for a solution to stop the killing going on in the country. That's a problem. Now, the US have already set up panel a hearing to hear this issue of Christian genocide. They will come and then present the issue of Donald Trump. Then the possible action will be taken from there on Thursday, 20th of this month. After this presentation, this hearing from both sides, Donald Trump will not take actions. If it's going to be gun blazing or boots on, so we determine. And again, you see, this country, this country, I don't know. It's not a crime to say we are Nigerians. It's not a crime, but it happens that we are Nigerians. All this is happening under this present government. Take your time, watch this video. We'll come back and talk about it. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel.
In another development, the FCT Police Command on Monday debunked reports circulating on social media alleging an attempted assassination on Naval Officer Lieutenant Ahmed Yarima in Abuja. The clarification follows another false publication on social media blogs claiming the officer was attacked during a stop-and-search operation at NNPC Junction in the Kabwa area of the Federal Capital Territory. Well, according to the Police Command on November 16th, a patrol team conducting a routine stop-and-search operation intercepted a Toyota Camry with a concealed number plate and fully tinted windows. The officers approached the vehicle and requested the occupant's identity, but the occupant refused to identify himself, made several calls, and wound up his tinted windows, declining to engage with them. Minutes later, 3 naval personnel arrived at the location and cordially identified the occupant as their colleague. After this confirmation, the police team allowed the vehicle to proceed without incident. These reports are coming just a week after FCT Minister Nyesom Wike had a public altercation with the naval lieutenant over disputed land in Abuja. Well, in a related development, a retired general and Air Commodore Abayomi Balogun, in a video that has now gone viral, expressed frustration over the destruction of his home in the Wuse 3 area of the Federal Capital Territory. The video showed the scale of destruction and rubble after the demolition. The retired general said that he was not informed about the demolition beforehand, but was told by the Development Control Agency that the exercise was carried out under instructions from the Minister of the FCT. Let's take a look.
Notice from the development. Good evening, sir. We have seen the way these people destroy your garden. We are not happy. But what happened, sir?
Oh, like I was here in the morning and I saw them coming. They say they are from development control. And they started marking the place. I said, what for? They say they are demolishing. I said, how can you demolish? Without notification, without anything. They say they must demolish today. And I met them. I said, please. I met the director of Mr. Galadima, who I used to know. And I said, please, give me 1 week. He said, no. I said, okay, just give me a day to move my property out of them. They say, no, they will not allow me. They will just destroy everything.
And they start leveling everywhere.
And as they were leveling, the area boys, the Babamola started stealing everything. So today, what was here yesterday totally flattened by development control, who claimed that they were acting under authority of the minister.
Sorry, sir.
Oh, this is heartbreaking to see, Dr. Abati, as the retired general is someone who served Nigeria for 35 years. We're seeing this sort of demolition every time. It's constant in the FCT. We need more investigation on this particular story, but I'd like for you to tie in both stories. We're seeing that they're talking about Yarima all of a sudden after the altercation with the Minister of the FCT, and the Minister of the FCT is right now making the headlines over his demolition of this general.
Okay, very quick, it's straightforward. I mean, Officer A.M. Yarima became famous because of his altercation with the Minister of the Federal Republic. Earlier this week, we were told that there was an attempt on his life and that he managed to engage in what they call strategic maneuver and escape. The police have said that is not true. Now we're told that he was stopped by the police and he was driving a vehicle where the number plate was covered and he refused to cooperate. Naval officers came. We have also now been told that, this is also fake news. It will appear that, because of that confrontation with the minister, he's become a subject of interest for certain persons, other persons who create fake news or persons who are just, interested in embarrassing him. And I think that, that should not be the case. He was on duty. People have been saying you shouldn't carry out illegal orders and all of that. Well, the owner of that property, the man in possession of that property, under the law of real property, has the right to protect his property as long as he has the relevant papers. And so, you cannot say Yarima was carrying out illegal orders. After all, we were told that the chief of defense staff even called him on that particular occasion. But it is not a matter that should become unduly melodramatic or that should constitute a threat to his life. There may be some other people trying to even make the minister look bad. Whereas in this particular case, the minister may be completely innocent. The altercation may have happened. Both parties involved may have moved on. So, but Nigerians, as President Trump pointed out, tries to create comedy out of every serious situation. He thinks that we're a country of skit makers. That's what Trump said the other day. However,
is he not a skit maker?
As for the retired Air Commodore, the minister of the FCT talked about the rule of law. Now, the rule of law means due process. It means fairness. It means justice. This Air Commodore is saying he didn't get any notice. Nobody, even told him what his offense was. It's a garden. Now, he said officials from development control just came there, and in a matter of hours, they have leveled the garden. Even if it was an illegal occupation of some space, due process should be followed. The report you mentioned that the directive was from the minister of the FCT. Again, in this particular case, the minister may be innocent.
Yes.
He may not have been the one that even gave the directive.
Yeah, the general said it himself.
It's now convenient to just any little thing. They say it's a wicked who is behind it. And it's because of the way he himself has been too histrionic in his approach that he will get blamed for even things that he knows nothing about. But due process, rule of law must be followed.
Yes, but we cannot have an officer who has served the country for 35 years in this sort of situation.
I understand.
This
as an officer's daughter,
yes,
you will insist on due process.
Especially, well, not only especially because of that. Yes, and it's unfair.
How can people's houses just be demolished?
Demolished, people's livelihoods.
There's a narrative that I've seen that's going around.
Yes.
And I saw it in my very dear sister's Onikwekwa Breakley's article that they're all quoting the law that, yes, the minister has the right to inspect property. In the case of that property that Officer Yerima was, that the minister was there, the minister was not going to inspect. The FCD authorities that come to harass the contractor, they were going to demolish. So please, let them correct that narrative. They should stop quoting the law that he was going to inspect. We know, yes, he has right. He was going to demolish. Did you see bulldozer? You know, see bulldozer.
So maybe he went to inspect with the aim to demolish.
Demolish. So no. He was going to demolish. He was not inspecting with the aim of demolition. Because the agitation there was stopping work so that they'll be able to carry out a demolition.
Yes, you're right.
Let's get that right.
We saw
because people are changing the narrative. I don't like when people tell lies.
No, but even Wike himself said it.
No,
hold on. Even Wike himself said it during the press conference that he heard that they were beating officials at the site. And that's why he went. That's the only reason he went to the narrative around. Was because he heard that those people were beating government officials.
Yes.
So that he went to go and this is the question. So what did he do?
Is he now working for the Nigerian?
So what did Nigerian police? He went with his own personal security and Nigerian police.
He's part of the level of lawlessness in the country. A minister going around with outriders.
He said it himself that he went to go and find out why they beat up government officials. Well, all right.
So he's the one that will call you from government official.
We'll take another story now. The controversy surrounding reports of a Christian genocide in Nigeria has taken a new dimension. Well, on Monday, the United States House of Representatives Subcommittee on Africa scheduled a hearing for November 20th to investigate the killing of Christians in Nigeria. The congressional hearing, chaired by Representative Chris Smith, is set to feature 2 panels of witnesses, including senior U.S. State Department officials and Nigerian religious leaders, to review the scope of the reports and weigh potential policy responses, such as targeted sanctions. Well, the U.S. congressional hearing is a significant diplomatic development that could have serious implications for Nigeria-U.S. relations and foreign aid. Meanwhile, superstar Nicki Minaj is set to speak on Tuesday at the United Nations on the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. The development also follows Pope Leo XIV voicing concerns over religious persecution targeting Christians. On Friday, Christian leaders rallied on the steps of the U.S. Capitol, thanking Trump for giving a voice to Christian persecution in Nigeria. Well, in the same vein, a new video trending on social media shows an excerpt from a sermon by the Catholic Bishop of Nsukka, Bishop Godfrey Onam, speaking about how the suffering of Christians in Nigeria is comparable to the crucifixion of Christ and how Christian schools in Nigeria have been sabotaged by the federal government. Let's take a look.
Since after the takeover of schools, who has the correct statistics of the number of churches that have been burnt down in this country? Who knows How many Christians have been killed in this country because they are Christians? Some right inside the church. Some will tell you these are criminals. They are not just targeting Christians. Take it easy. How many of those who perpetrate these crimes have been arrested and prosecuted? How many of them are in jail? How many of them have faced the death penalty? The Catholic Church is against the death penalty. I'm talking about Nigerian law. And some Christians are being provoked legitimately to react. Anytime any of them reacts, they are said to be taking the laws into their hands. But all those who trample the law with their feet, trample upon the law. They kill, they rape, they maim, they sack farmers, they harvest crops of farmers and feed it to their cattle. And when you say no, why are you doing this? It is death. And when they do that, they record it and post it to government to see. If you ask them a question, you are killed. If you chase them away and while running away they die, you'll be condemned to death.
All right, this was quite the message from the bishop. I mean, talking about even the schools that have been sabotaged. Meanwhile, in Kebbi State, the state governor, Mohammed Nasir Idris, has expressed strong outrage over the attack and kidnapping of 25 female students as the government girls' comprehensive school, MAGA, accusing unnamed security agencies of sabotaging efforts by failing to act on credible intelligence from the Department of State Services. The governor stated that the DSS had advised the state to convene a Security Council meeting and provide round-the-clock protection, a decision that was made but apparently not enforced. He lamented that heavily armed security men who had been deployed to the school spent time taking pictures with the students and conducting drills, but then abandoned their post just 30 minutes before the attackers struck. Well, the Department of State Services has recorded back-to-back victories, recapturing escaped terrorist mastermind Abdulaziz Obadaki and now been suspected major arms supplier Musa Abubakar in separate operations. Obadaki, a top Ansaru terrorist commander who orchestrated the devastating August 7, 2010 mass shooting at a Deeper Life Bible Church near Okene, Kogi State, where 19 worshippers, including the pastor, were killed, had been on the run since escaping during the July 2022 Kuje Custodial Center jailbreak. The suspected terrorist, who also masterminded the February 2022 Daylight Bank robberies in Uromi, Edo State, had left several policemen and bank customers dead, with hundreds of millions of naira carted away, confessed to orchestrating the Kuje jailbreak itself after being transferred from Kaba Custodial Center in June 2022. After over 3 years of evading capture, DSS operatives finally recaptured the terrorist on Friday, November 14th. Meanwhile, the arrest comes barely 2 months after the secret police arraigned 5 suspects linked to the 2022 Owo Catholic Church massacre in Ondo State. Just days later, on November 12, 2025, DSS operatives struck again, arresting Musa Abubakar, a key arms dealer whose manufacturing workshop in Plateau State supplied high-caliber weapons and ammunition to armed groups terrorizing Plateau and neighboring northern states. Abubakar was caught red-handed with improvised explosive device components, chemicals, and manufacturing equipment following extensive surveillance and credible intelligence, a breakthrough that came 3 months after the DSS arraigned 9 high-profile suspects involved in the Plateau and Benue attacks, including Tima Majol, who has already pleaded guilty to illegal firearm possessions. I mean, Rufai, these are just real credible and commendable back-to-back victories. Well, while these victories are commendable, the question now is whether the momentum can be sustained and whether Nigeria's judicial system will match the DSS efficiency by ensuring swift prosecution and conviction of these arrested suspects. Meanwhile, in the same vein, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave a fiery speech directed at judicial officers nationwide at the 2025 All-Nigerian Judges Conference on Monday. In his address, the president declared that a compromised judiciary poses an existential threat to democracy, insisting that justice must never be for sale. Tinubu also warned judges not to succumb to corruption, stating that corruption anywhere in government is damaging, but corruption in the judiciary destroys it to the core. Let's take a look.
Let us be clear. No amount of reform can succeed if integrity is compromised. Justice must never be for sale. The bench must never become a sanctuary for compromise. Corruption in any form or any arm of government weakens the nation, but corruption in judiciary destroys it to the core. When justice is compromised, government loses its integrity and democracy loses its foundation.
President Tinubu's call for moral integrity in the judiciary sounds admirable in theory, Rufai. But the question remains, will judges who deliver questionable judgments face the consequences? Will judicial appointments prioritize integrity over political loyalty? And will the executive branch respect judicial independence even when court rulings go against government interests? So until we see, systemic or systematic reforms that address judicial corruption in Nigeria at its roots, the president's well-intentioned statement may very well be another unfulfilled promise, Rufai.
It's just rhetoric. Rhetoric. If the president is ready, there are people that have proposals of judicial reform today that if it takes, in the next couple of years, the problem will be solved. It's just rhetoric. It's just talk at the judicial conference. I don't see a couple of years back from this time, mark today, and we'll keep talking about it. It's the same politicians that corrupted the judicial system. Let's call it spade a spade. So if they are talking now, like it doesn't favor them, it's just rhetoric. Secondly, as regards the point of Nicki Minaj, because I see there's an attempt to be able to mitigate Nicki Minaj and say, she has no right to be able to sound off on Christian genocide and all of that. The truth is, the facts are there. We hear what Nicki Minaj has to say. But the facts of these killings are there. I've also seen people make the argument, others have been killed. Yeah, nobody has denied that Muslims have been killed. In fact, they have been killed en masse, genocidal proportions. But there's Christian genocide, and the earlier we accept this, and government trying to go and twist narrative will not work. Because it's there. The bishop was talking about burning of churches. In researching this matter, I don't talk with that. Or did you know that there's something called cultural genocide? You don't even need to kill people. But the fact that you are burning religious places, trying to exterminate languages and all of that, is part of cultural genocide. So for those that are arguing, there's no Christian genocide, the burning of a lot of churches, is that not part of cultural genocide? So I'm asking the question. See, we all want the problem to be solved. And like I've always said, it's not a contest to pit Muslims against Christians and all of that. No. Because both Muslims or Christians, they're all victims. How can we solve the problem? But the first part, and I don't like what this government has done, is that you not accepting you have a problem in itself is a problem. The attempt to go use government officials to do all sorts of propaganda is not the way forward. Mitigating the plights of people is not the way forward because we want to look good on the international scene. Let us accept there's a problem and how can we solve it? Look at the KB girls. There's a talk again of complicity. You remember President Bolaji Akinwumi told the story of how when they wanted to come rescue the Chibok girls, they got here, they said they wanted to gas the terrorists. The next day they saw the terrorists were wearing masks. So the investigation should be, let's ask, the security officials that were supposed to be there and safeguard the students, where are they? Dr. Abati, a lot of people were mocking Mrs. Jonathan when she was asking, Principal, where were you when they took them? There is God, though. But yes, ahead now, we are seeing that in the case of Chibok, there's an element of also complicity. Because people share their responsibility. Then, Jonathan was the problem. We are all mocking Mr. Jonathan when we share, there is God, there is God. But what that one was crying about was that there's a level of complicity. So who are those complicits? And how can we get the problem solved? That's just it once and for all. And may God help us. Because this is 15 years counting. A child they gave birth to when all of this started is already getting ready for university, already in university. When is all of this going to stop?
Can I just say the failing of the legislature is very loud, especially with the news you spoke about the US Congress. This is what the Nigerian Senate ought to be leading. Calling for people to come forward. Their silence is actually really loud. Aside from the Senate President, Senator Akpabio, saying over the weekend that the president's handling it, what has the Senate done? Look at their counterparts in the US. Should the US be leading on this? Nigeria should take ownership of this.
Religious leaders, like I said, or the US Capitol,
they're asking them to come forward. They're opening an inquiry and asking them to come forward. Why has the Nigerian Senate not opened an inquiry to at least even listen to the agitation of the people? And then if you're talking about Nicki Minaj, where are the Nigerian celebrities?
That's what I was going to say. I really like Dr. Abati's comment earlier about Nicki Minaj. The fact that she has such a huge platform and she's able to speak. We should also have other people to speak about what they really believe in. Nicki Minaj should not be persecuted because she's speaking for what she really believes in. So that really is what it is. But I mean, this US policy, you said Tiwa Savage. All the Tiwa Savages, all the Burna Boys, all of this is the time to speak as well because we're seeing
fashion shows. There's nothing wrong with it.
We are at a very platform too. Right. I like meeting Nicki Minaj. Which one? Which I don't know her story. I don't know her story. Is that what you called her? All right. But we are at a very critical time in our lives right now in Nigeria with these conversations about Christian genocide and the US sanctions and the sanctions that may come, that might follow this whole conversation. But the Nigerian government, we need to continue to speak up and collaborate with these conversations. Now,
you listen to that? Very good. Very, very good. You see, what we have been saying now, at this time, after 15 or how many years, we are still talking about insecurity. Chibok girls, government college, government comprehensive college, kidnap, this and that, a lot of things. You know, I said something the last time. Jonathan will just be in his house, wherever he is now, relaxing and just listening and laughing at APC and laughing at Tinubu. That is just it. He's happy now. Now his joy has fulfilled that what people accuse him for then. He was innocent of what was going on. Now he's satisfied. He doesn't know anything what is going on in the country, but this is called karma has come for Tinubu, has come for APC. Now God of Jonathan is fighting APC, is fighting Tinubu. That is just it. And you see, and yesterday this issue of Shetima, that was when Rufai said that was when Jonathan's wife, when they invited the principal of the school or the Chibok girls then, when they invited the principal to come, the first one, the principal failed to show up at Asuro when they invited this principal to come and explain to us, tell us what happened. The man didn't show up at first. Then the second time he came reluctantly, the principal then, for you to know these people know what is going on. Then now they know what they are doing. They are just disturbing me and you won't know nothing about these issues. For the reasons why they are doing the best known to them. When the man came for the second time, reluctantly he came after first. That was when Jonathan's wife said, "Now only you waka come." That one, people make joke out of that serious issue because maybe the way she presented, people don't understand. How can you say, come and explain to us, how can you say a school that you are the leader, you principal of the school, over this, I think it was 174 or 200 or whatever. How can you say these people in your school, these people were taken away by an unknown gunmen, taking these people away, they kidnapped them? Where were you? What were you doing? What did you do? Because it is not before this happened, before you can control, people already see danger, before you can control 200 or let's say over 150 people to convey them to enter one bus, two buses, whichever want to enter, they leave the school. These people would have spent nothing less than 1 hour in that school. What did you do? What happened? Come and give account of what happened. Which call did you make? Which security comes to your rescue then? He was coming or he came, only he waka come. That was when Jonathan said, this is not possible. How can you say only you waka come? That was when she said that. Now only you waka come, there is God though. But people make joke out of that serious issue then because this woman, she know what she was saying. What you are saying, this story is not adding up. It doesn't make any sense to anybody. But they say it happens. What government could do is to look for a solution. Do you understand? Is it not what is happening today? History, the karma has come for them. Now the woman now, she's now a PhD holder. Yeah, I think so. She's happy now. Her joy has fulfilled. That hey, God has vindicated them. You see, the country is a joke. And Donald Trump is now calling us a country of a skit maker. We take jokes out of everything. How possible is that? Where do they go? Where do they pass? How? But because these people, they know their agenda. They know what they are doing. They know what they are doing. Yes. But my problem is, this thing they are doing is just destroying the image of the country, number one. Is taking the country backwards. That's it. Because if this is happening now, it does not have anything to do with our GDP, with our economy. Fine. It does not have any security threats to other people, other region. Fine. If this is happening in the north, since they created this problem and they failed to solve it and they do not even want the problem solved, it would have been better if this is just affecting them in the north. That's why I say again, regional system of government will solve this problem. I said it before. That is it. Regional system will solve, at least if not 100%, it will solve 80%. Then you know the region that is not serious. If they are not serious, let other region move on. Let them move on. These people are not serious. They can't use their own to disturb others who are serious of themselves or their life. What is there? And a lot of things is going on. FCT minister, I said that yesterday. Thank God, Abati said something. God, when I did that video, everything shouldn't be wiki. This shouldn't be tagged as wiki. The people were pointing fingers at wiki. For what? Anyways, that's not this thing. But even the officer, they didn't know you. You were not on uniform on the video. You were not on uniform. Not everybody who know you. Not everybody. And this issue of wiki that they make you famous within that one way, you were trending. So you were trending doesn't mean that everybody knows you. No. And you were not a mufti. Simple answer. Okay, if they ask you, simple, bring white down, give them your ID card. If you don't want to give them, present anything to identify you as a lieutenant, right? To identify yourself. If you have done that, you go. There was no issue. There was nothing to. Why should they Why the time you waited making phone calls until people came to your rescue? What stopped you just to present your ID card or tell them who you are? These people are also police. They are not civilian. They are doing their job as well, just the same way you claim that you are doing your job then. You see? Now they want to change the narrative and tag it as Wiki orchestrated this. No, somebody should stop that. Anyways, this is Nigeria we find ourselves. And again, celebrities, Nicki Minaj said to talk about the Christian genocide going on in Nigeria, how view of the issues. Yes, this is America. What our celebrities should do, if foreigners are doing it for what our Senate, our National Assembly should do for us, should do, foreigners are doing it. Yeah, they are not even satisfied. We are not satisfied. We are still arguing it's not Christian genocide, it is Christian genocide rubbish. Now, foreigners, US celebrities speaking out for Nigeria. How many of these celebrities you see that are using their platform to say this killing going on in Nigeria should stop, even if you don't want to tag it as Christian genocide, but this killing must stop, right? All those people that have been on life since, they don't commit any offense. They are not. They are a victim of a failed country, failed society. They didn't commit it. The only offenses they committed is 2 offenses. Number 1, they are Nigerian. And number 2, they find themselves in the region where this happened to them. That's the only offense. They didn't commit any crime. Any crime against the country. No. It's just because they find themselves in the region where this happened. And your opportunity, you are lucky, you also find yourself in this region where there is at least safer for now. But if you want to keep it to say it doesn't concern any one of us, it's spreading. Now they are in Kwara State. Kwara State, what is left? The next time they enter Ibadan, then they come into Lagos. So all this should stop and people should speak out. That's why this man now, yeah, I see a couple of pastors who are speaking out at this time. They are speaking out. Even some of the pastors even said when they started Busybody, they said it is not Christian genocide. All those ones. So you know them. Some of these pastors, this issue now even make us to understand, see difference between pastors and AC pastors. The real pastor now, for me, is this man, Ezekiel Dachumo, Reverend Ezekiel Dachumo. That man has done a lot. That man sacrificed. He want to sacrifice his life to the people he represented. Anything should happen to you, say he don't even care. That is the real man of God that we've seen so far. He's a hero of this whole issue. He's awareness, creating awareness. Awareness has gone everywhere. It's even the reason why the US they having interest. Seriously, this man created awareness. Anyways, what do you think? Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel.